Hello, good afternoon. I'm outside Turnpike Lane, Zone 3 in North London on the Piccadilly Line. There are 53 stations on the Piccadilly, and today I'm going to show you where they nearly almost built Piccadilly Line station number 54 as we do our top 10 tube map words. Turnpike Lane is number 8. Turnpike Lane opened in 1932 as part of the Piccadilly Line extension heading up to Cockfosters. Legendary tube designer Charles Holden designed them all around the same time, so they all have a similar look and feel, but they do have their own individual touches, such as this. The edging of the tiles at each station all have their own colour. Now, Turnpike Lane is right by an area called Duckett's Green, and Duckett's Common is across from the tube station, and the Underground almost called the station this before settling on the name Turnpike Lane. And such is its beauty and brilliance, the station is nowadays absolutely Grade 2 listed. It is genuinely fantastic, with several design features to admire. There's almost nothing not to love about it. There's a huge double height ticket hall, there's a gorgeous blue clock high up in that ticket hall, and the uplighters on the escalators are of course an absolute delight. On the outside of the station, the ticket hall you can see has its blue room windows, and there's a tower rising out of it with a flagpole right on top, so that you know from a distance that there is a tube station here. One of my favourite things that so many miss is this bench in the ticket hall, tucked away in the corner, with a curved ending which matches the bus station outside. Yeah, there's a bus station around here somewhere. If only I knew which way it was. If only there was a sign. There was an original bus interchange here at Turnpike Lane Station when the tube first opened in 1932, and at the time there were tram services as well, but they were stopped and withdrawn soon after in 1938. And the bus station site then had a dramatic transformation with the present day structure. A new modern high canopy bus station was rebuilt and reopened in 2001. So yeah, it mimics the actual tube station in that it sort of looks similar in design. It's a great bus station. 16 day routes, 4 night routes and 1 school bus route operate out of here. But I remember spending one afternoon back at the beginning of, was it 2024, when I rode all bus routes in London, doing all like 500 plus routes. I spent a good couple of hours here getting buses to and from Turnpike Lane. But my overwhelming memory is that TfL, hi, if you're watching, nowhere within Turnpike Lane bus station is there a map. Normally, you do get a spider map showing what routes go where. I remember standing here, walking around, trying to find a bus map of the routes that lead from Turnpike Lane bus station, not tube station. And there still isn't one. So if somebody would like to put up a map here of the bus routes at Turnpike Lane, that would be great. One of the other things I like about Turnpike Lane Station are the pedestrian subways that feed into the station, because they allow you to avoid having to cross the busy road junction outside at street level. The subways carry on the design of the station from platform level up here with the yellow coloured tiles. But one thing I've never been able to work out is why the signage is white on Bakerloo coloured brown up on the street by the staircases. I would expect this to be Piccadilly blue. If anyone knows why, please do comment away. Oh, and have I mentioned just generally how the whole design of the station is magnificent. I have often thought this, if you've never been to London before, if you're a tourist, sometimes I get comments saying, Geoff, I'm new to London, which bit of the tube should I go and explore? You could do a lot worse than check out, as a first time, passenger on the Underground, come to this bit, the top end of the Piccadilly Line, the extension from the 1930s. So, Manor House, Turnpike Lane, Wood Green and Bounds Green, even the Arnold's Grove to Southgate bit, that run of 4, 5, 6 stations, all magnificent, completely gorgeous, almost the perfect tube station in terms of look and aesthetic and design. I love it. I'm just sad that one of the 2 uplighters here isn't working. TfL, if you could fix that, that would also be great. There's a train leaving, let's get a shot of that going. In a second, I'm about to walk backwards. That may result in failure, we'll see. I just wanted to point out the ventilation grille here, which again, it's always one of those things, as a regular of Turnpike Lane, you may have seen these. I think there's 3, 4 on each platform, so either 6 or 8, and they're ventilation grilles. But if you look, there is a rider on horseback approaching an actual turnpike, so it depicts the name of the station. The ventilation grille is a turnpike, and I just walk backwards here. I don't know, I'm walking backwards, it just seemed like a fun thing to do. To get to these magnificent, just magnificent way out signs with the 4 fletchings, and up on the surface there's an arrow with 3 fletchings, and then in other places on the ground there's sometimes 2 fletchings or 1 fletching, and it just got me thinking about different numbers of fletchings. The term fletching originates from a 12th century Old French word that means arrow. It traditionally refers to the stabilising feathers attached by a medieval arrow maker or fletcher. But in modern transit design, the London Underground uses this concept visually through its iconic Johnston-style directional arrows as an intuitive wayfinding tool. But what you probably don't know is that you can tell an age of a sign from its number of fletchings. 4 fletchings were often seen between the 1920s to 1930s, 3 were often seen on signs from 1933 onwards up to the 1950s, this went down to 2 in around the 1960s, and in the modern era of 1970s onwards they were stripped down to 1 or maybe have none at all. So in the crossover passage at the northern end of the station between the 2 platforms, my eye was drawn instantly to these grills here. There's one here and there's one on the other side there. When I see things like that in a tube station, it makes me think that's obviously an old passageway to a lift. Normally at some stations they've been installed with lifts, escalators have come later, and these passageways are the old secret ways in, ways out of the old corridors that run down to the old lift shaft. But that is not the case at Turnpike Lane. They were built in the 1930s all with lifts. So I don't know where these go. I don't know why they're here, but if you've never walked through the crossover passage at Turnpike Lane, it's just worth doing for fun. So a beautiful and fabulous Charles Holden station it may be, but it hasn't stopped my hands getting a little bit dusty and dirty from all the tiles down there where all the grime is. I'm outside the station now. I'm walking, I'm heading south out of Turnpike Lane, heading down this way for the main point of this video, and that's to find the spot where the Piccadilly Line almost had another station. If you measure the distance between Manor House and Turnpike Lane at street level, it's 2.2 kilometres. And on the way up here today on the tube, I timed the journey in between to confirm what I'd suspected. Most other stops along this part of the Piccadilly Line are around 2 minutes apart. But here, the longer stretch means that the journey time between the 2 stations takes almost 3 minutes. And that's why, when the Piccadilly extension was built, there were plans for another station here halfway between Manor House and Turnpike Lane, most likely to have been constructed on the corner of St Anne's Road, and that's probably what the station would have been called. So I'm at the busy junction. It is busy, a lot of traffic, a lot of buses, on the junction of Green Lanes in Haringey and St Anne's Road, which is behind me. In fact, Haringey Green Lanes, the overground station, is just down there. But here, you've got the Salisbury Hotel. It's a pub, it's a bar. There's some people sitting out the front having a nice drink on a lovely summer's day in London. But this, I think, could have maybe been the point where St Anne's tube station on the Piccadilly Line could have been. That is, of course, unless it was just 100 metres up that way, which is where I'll go now. Yes, because 30 seconds away on Colina Road is some evidence that the Underground is most definitely here. And that's where I've come to, Colina Road, just a few metres up. Last time I was here, because I came here a few years ago, this big housing development wasn't there. This was just waste ground, I think. But that building was still there, and it's still there now. And that, as you can see, sort of looks like a tube station because it is a London Underground TfL property. And that is the access to the vent shaft, the air vent shaft that goes straight down onto the Piccadilly. So I'm standing above the Piccadilly Line right now. And the trouble is that, yeah, I've been to St Anne's Road, and it's like maybe the tube station would have been there, but could it have been here on Colina Road if they've got the bit of ground here and they've built this air vent shaft? Would the station have been here? So we don't know. We don't know if it would have been at the St Anne's Road junction or on the corner here of Colina Road. But that, in effect, is the tube station on the Piccadilly Line that never was, could have, should have, would have been the 54th tube station. So if you're ever in the Haringey area, just pop by and see it. And the best way to come here is to come to Turnpike Lane, Lane being the 8th most common word on the tube map. The tube map, by the way, is not just underground stations, but also includes the DLR, Elizabeth Line, part of Thameslink, and even the trams down in Croydon. And these are all the instances, 13 in total, that the word lane appears. And here's the summary top 10 that will fill in video by video as we count them down. The word and is in 10th place, east is in 9th place, and this video's word lane is in 8th place. And that is Turnpike Lane. Lane is the 8th most popular word on the tube map. We will count down the top 10, 7 more videos in the series to go. There's a train coming in now, might get this one. And St Anne's Road, the Piccadilly Line's 54th tube station, never was never built, could have been as well. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to get the Piccadilly Line home. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.